What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and welcome back to our Life is Strange community series, a community series that airs on our channel every other Wednesday, where I talk about all things Life is Strange. And, we've talked a lot about Season 2 in general, and, specifically me. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are new to the Life is Strange community, welcome. And the first thing you should know about me is my lack of liking Life is Strange Season 2. If you guys have been with us for a while, then you probably already know that. And this is not going to be any other kind of video. This is going to be talking a little bit about Season 2, but tying it into Max and Chloe. Now, this dabbles with videos that I've made in the past. I've made videos talking about if Max should actually return to Life is Strange Season 2. Like, is that possible? I talked about Season 2 kind of compared to Season 1, so you already kind of know my feelings in regards to Max and Chloe, in regards to Season 1 and Season 2, and if you guys don't, definitely go back and watch those videos. We have a whole playlist on the channel. But here's the thing, the central question, this was a question that was asked, at the very end of Life is Strange, the first season, and going into the second season was, should it, could they do it with Max and Chloe? Could this be a thing that they could do it back to back and have them actually return? And at this point, the question would be, would it be better off if they would have just stuck with those two characters? Now, I understand the ending of Season 1. I understand that, depending on your choice, Chloe lives or dies. So, it's kind of tough with that aspect. It kind of only leaves Max. And to be honest, maybe that's the main reason. I want to know, I would love in 10 years from now, because there's no way these guys can answer these questions now, but I'd love to know way down the line, what was the central decision in not having Max and Chloe come back, or at least Max come back? Was it that they wanted to do something completely different and focus on these two brothers? And again, the question is, do I mind that they switched from Max and Chloe to Sean and Daniel? I don't, actually. I was not, it was kind of like a bittersweet feeling. I was sad. I love those characters. Max and Chloe, I think, are some phenomenal characters, and we have to thank Don't Nod for creating them. It's because of them that Max and Chloe are a thing, and I did, going into Season 2, I was looking forward to see what they were going to do, if they could do it again, basically, with two new characters, that relationship, that dynamic, and it was always, I guess, in my mind, assumed that it would be on two characters, and maybe we can even make a video on if there was just one character for, a future thing, but the two character dynamic that Don't Nod's done, I knew that was going to happen, okay, and I think a lot of people knew that was going to happen. The question is, did they make a mistake choosing Sean and Daniel? Well, in my opinion, they made a mistake choosing the characters that they did, making the characters. I think there's a lot of fundamental flaws with both of those characters, not flaws in their character, which can make characters good. I'm saying, literally the characters, there's flaws in the script, there's flaws in the acting of these characters and just who these characters are. There's a lot of problems with these characters. So I don't mind, I truly don't. I don't mind that they switched between these two girls to these two boys, and I actually dabbled, because it's tough to talk about this kind of thing, and I was thinking about possibly making a video, but you'd think more people would be outraged that they switch from the two girls that may or may not like each other, depending on your decisions, to then two boys, two brothers. With the way the gaming industry and the way that especially the gaming industry kind of leans very, very far left, you'd think they'd actually have more problems with the fact that they gave up the girl thing, because everybody's pushing for those girl-centric games. Completely fine. I'm fine with Max and Chloe. I love Max and Chloe. I think you tell a fantastic game no matter what, and doesn't matter who your main characters are. If they fit the story, I don't care what race, gender, I don't care what they're all about. It's fine, and that's just generally how I approach it. So I didn't care if they picked a boy and a girls, two boys. I didn't really care what they ended up doing. I didn't care what kind of, what they felt. I really didn't, because, I think at the end of the day, it just is about telling the story. But the fact that they chose Sean and Daniel, they wrote the characters of these two, basically immigrants, or these people that are legal, and then, their dad gets killed, and it becomes kind of a race thing, and you go forward with that. Obviously, there were some major problems in those characters, and would they have done better with Max and Chloe? I mean, I think they would have. I at this point truly don't trust them anymore. I truly do not. I don't know if going into a Season 3, I really would set the bar very, very low in my mind. And we'll be talking a ton, by the way, about Season 3 once Season 2 wraps up. Once Season 2 is done, there'll be a series of videos talking about, getting us ready for a Season 3, theories, just kind of me discussing it, all sorts of that stuff. But I really think that they made a mistake in terms of their character writing, but that doesn't mean that I'm mad at them for not sticking with Max and Chloe. I love those characters, but at the same time, especially because Deck 9, they did give us closure. And Don't Nod obviously gave us closure with episode 5, and I was okay with the ending. I mean, not the choosing, or not literally the whole game being a choice of decisions leading up to you being able to pick one of two things. Not that, but the very, very end, depending on which choice you do, both those endings I'd say were very satisfying. And then obviously Deck 9 took it and elevated it with the farewell episode. I thought the farewell episode was absolutely phenomenal, definitely in line and definitely up there with the level of how good Life is Strange Season 1 was. So I was okay saying goodbye. At the time the farewell episode came out, I was sitting in my basement playing this game, and I was sad, and it was bittersweet. But I was like, you know what? Phenomenal characters. See ya. It's been awesome playing as you, playing with you basically for all these hours across, at that point, all these years. And, thank you for what you've done. And now let's see what Don't Nod can come up with next. Let's see if their next set of characters can be as good. Boy, was I naive back then, because obviously I didn't even know what was in store for me. But, again, making that switch, not a big deal. What they actually came up with, big deal. Again, also, would they have problems if they chose Max and Chloe again? Yeah, because it was a somewhat conclusion, and especially because of that ending. Was, again, and going back to that question of asking Don't Nod in the future, was it the fact that they just want to do something new, which is completely fine. I mean, if you want to tell a different story with different characters, more power to you, go ahead and do it, especially at that point. I trusted them. Or was it because of that ending, because they wrote themselves kind of into a brick wall with, one choice has Chloe dying and one choice has Chloe living? Did they, write themselves into a wall where they can't continue the character of Chloe, and because they're so connected, you really can't do it? And because they maybe don't feel comfortable doing just a single character story, maybe they didn't want to just bring Max back, because no matter what, I think Max can always return. I mean, it's just the way it is. She's the one with the powers, just like Daniel's the one with the powers, but she survived Season 1. She made it through, and no matter what happened with Chloe, you still did all those things with Max. I mean, you can kind of sum up all the stuff that Max did, and you don't need that final decision, whether or not whatever happens, you could have Max appear, and that's why I've made videos, because I do think we will eventually see her. Whether it's in Episode 4, very, very doubtful. Episode 5, still very doubtful, but I think not as much. Or maybe a Season 3, I do think it's possible that Max could return to these games. I understand the farewell, we said goodbye, all that stuff. It's also okay to say goodbye to what we knew and then bring her back and just have her be something, special. We said goodbye, very, very different. Not even the same scope of things, so stay with me where I reach for an example here. But say Luke Skywalker. I mean, Luke was a phenomenal character, 4, 5, 6. I mean, obviously to a huge generation of people back then, phenomenal character. And then obviously not in 1, 2, and 3. And obviously they bring him back for 7, and people thought, wow, what could they do with this awesome character? I think Rian Johnson absolutely destroyed his character in 8. We'll see what JJ does in 9. It's a huge reach, but hey, you brought him back. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible that you can bring back this character that you said goodbye to, and he could just act as something different to the story. Max could do the same thing. We said goodbye, but maybe she comes back and she's a little bit older. Maybe she's teaching, she could teach your character, or she could be like a mentor, something like that. I think that's a very strong possibility, but in terms of Chloe, I think that is what's holding it back. I think that's what's holding back you'll never play as Max again. And I think that's what the farewell episode was hinting at too. It may not actually be farewell for both of them in terms of just them as characters. It could just be farewell for you playing as Max, and because that's a whole nother depth level there when you're playing as the character than if you're just with them, if they're just kind of with you with the story. So I just want to talk about that. I just want to talk, did they make a mistake? I don't think they made a mistake. I'm okay with their decision to do Sean and Daniel, to do different characters. What they came up with, I think it's a complete joke. I think it's a complete disaster. It kind of paints the picture of Season 2 in general to me. I think they made a mistake with, leaving Arcadia Bay, leaving the school, all that stuff. Fine, I don't care. You can come up with a better place, because that's how you can't come up with a different, better idea if you stick to the same thing. So more power to you. Problem is, they got worse. They regressed backwards. They didn't to actually take that step forward. But obviously, as always, just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? I know, a lot of these videos tend to not be well received because just a lot of people do not agree with my opinion on season 2. Completely fine. Definitely appreciate you guys having a conversation with me, as you always do. Next week, get ready big time, because we're going to have an announcement in terms of our live stream, and then we will be live streaming episode 4 on the channel. Very excited to do that. Hopefully you guys can, join in and participate in that live stream, and then we'll be reviewing the episode a couple days later. So a lot of Life is Strange content coming up on the channel, and I hope to see you guys there.